Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Like many of you, I hope, or all of you, I hope. I've been staying at home these last few weeks and I'm here in my not very fun home office recording a video for you. A few weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I posted on Facebook that I was going to order some crazy cabinet Hinge lights from some obscure place in China, and I was going to try them out and report back. And I haven't reported back yet, so I figured now's the time. So here's a quick video going over those cabinet lights and how delighted I am with them. And, well, you can see for yourself, and I'll chime in a couple times to explain the heres and theres about it. Okay? Enjoy. This is the unit right here. It's just a molded plastic piece with some LED lights in it and a plunger right here. And it screws onto an existing cabinet hinge, so we'll see that in action. So here's a lowdown. I got about like 30 of these shipped from China. There were no instructions with them. There was no details at all. It was just like a loose bag of plastic, semi-plastic, semi-electronic stuff. And it took me a few days to track down what battery fit in this because it's not a standard AA or AAA battery. So it was an adventure just figuring this out. They take these A23 batteries. I had never seen these before, but I was actually able to buy them in Home Depot and in CVS and other really common places. So it must be a far more common battery than I thought. So here in my trailer, a good example is, one of these cabinet hinges right here. And these have covers on them. And the covers pop right off, and it's these two screws that, in theory, this device should tap into. So let me give that a try. Okay, let's see how this works. Here's the actual piece here, and here are your three LED lights, and here's the plunger. And the back cover pops off. It's just on these four little pins sticking into these four little holes. But this cover should mount right there, and once it does, this should mount there, and when the door closes, it should push on that hinge. So we'll see whether that works. So the problem here is that these two screws are in fact adjusting screws. So if I change this screw and I change this screw, I'm going to adjust the pitch of the door. So if I take this, you can see the door moving in and out a little bit. It's going that way and that way based on this screw. And if I change this screw, you can see the hinge moving the door in and out. So realistically, I don't want to use these two screws. I don't want to adjust them. But maybe I can just stick this on there with a little VHB tape or something and still get all the benefits of this thing. So let me try that. Now, let's be clear. If you've been watching my channel at all, I attach everything with VHB tape. I try not to drill any holes, and it has never failed me. It's super strong. My solar panels are attached to the roof with VHB tape, my knife rack. Anytime I can use VHB tape instead of a screw or some sort of mechanical fastener, I do. So I'm really confident that the VHB tape is going to do what it needs to do right now. So step one here is I've just put a little VHB tape inside of here. I'm going to peel that off. Now what I'm going to lose with the VHB tape instead of the screws is adjustability. So when I think about putting this on here, I have to think about where I want that plunger to be. So let me just figure that out. I want that plunger to be depressed when this door is closed. So I want it to be about there. And I'm just guesstimating. And that is not being held on really well at all. Doesn't work at all. Oh, VHB tape has never failed me before, but it's failing me now. It's just not going to work, I don't think. So that didn't work out. I think it's actually the sort of surface of the plastic is a little slippery, but also the surface of the hinge, at least the hinges in my model, have this sort of satin finish to them. It's not super shiny, it's not super smooth, it's sort of almost like a non-stick finish, and the tape just doesn't want to stick to it. So VHB tape is really not going to work to attach these hinge lights, and that was a little bit of a surprise. So I threw a battery in here, and you can see in theory how this is supposed to work. But in practice, it doesn't really. Now, some of you are going to notice that my hinges didn't have the sort of covers on them, and I took the cover off the hinge early in the process. Now, in theory, I could have glued the VHB tape to the cover, and I can tell you right now, I did that off camera. It didn't work, okay? But it also wouldn't work for this application because those covers fall off all the time. I don't know about you, but pretty much every time I pull into a campsite, there's 3 or 4 of those covers kicking around on the ground. So if you're sitting at home thinking, he should have used the cover, he should have glued it to the cover, it doesn't actually work. So the long story short is this is such a great idea, and I would love for it to work if it actually worked. But it doesn't seem to actually work in practicality. If I shut this off, this light off, you can see that it does illuminate the cabinet pretty well and would be really useful. But as far as I can tell, at least at first glance, I can't think of an easy way to actually mount the dang thing. So maybe the next thing I'll try is to take these lights and just sort of tape them directly to the cabinet walls and see whether that's an option for installing them. Because I have like 30 of them and they were shipped all the way from China. So I might as well try to use them. I don't know. So there you go. I took one for the team and ordered this crazy thing from far away in China. It took a long time for it to get here. Bought the odd-sized battery for it. But the reality is I just don't think yet I can mount it inside my trailer. So I'm going to say this doesn't really work, and I'll keep experimenting with it. But for now, I wouldn't buy them. So there you go. I hope that helps.